Okay, I just have the urge to share again. And at first I thought the same thing like last time. I thought that, okay, I feel this urge to share, but I don't know what to share. And maybe I will figure out in the video. But after that, I have a thought that maybe I want to share um, the thoughts I had before the urge to share, because most of the time, especially in the mornings and in the evenings, uh, there are like, I don't know, just like an automatic philosophic thoughts in my head all the time. I live with it, and I most of the time I actually like it, but also most of the time I don't share them because I when I was sharing it in the past, most of the people, even the close people, and even my good close friends and relatives, was like, not getting it. And I don't mean in the way that they are stupid or something, because most of the my inner crowds are quite highly intelligent uh, people, and I really admire them, their understanding of the world, and with each of them we have something in common. I mean, in understanding or yeah, in philosophy. But this totally unfiltered uh, stream of thoughts which is coming to me automatically almost all the time, it is just too raw, I think, for sharing. I mean, this was my experience, but you know even though this is the experience, i I think I feel the urge to share them, so I will share them right now. I have to like recall, but yeah, I think the urge to share was actually, it started with this. I was thinking about, actually I was like analyzing, I mean, in a good way, so not very strategically, not very um, so it was not like I started to think, okay, now my task is now to analyze myself. It was like an automatic self-analyzing, just monitoring. It is a better word for it. So I was just assessing my mental state, my emotional state, because I slept uh, too little, because we were like speaking about very very deep things with my love yesterday, and it went through the night, I mean, until very late. And yeah, after that I tried to compensate by sleeping as much as I could in the morning, but this is half conscious sleeping style, when you are aware of the surroundings, you are hearing all the things in the house, but you are kind of sleep, you don't wake up, but you don't really sleep like a zombie, which is actually it is like a good feeling, but on the other hand it is like, it wears you down. And after that I just woke up, with very strong feelings, uh, and a little bit of in a some kind of a vulnerable state. Yep. So and I was just starting to assess my state. What do I really feel? Is it really that bad or good? Like, you know grading it, not for determine No, it is not. Yeah. So revealing the truth actually, because most of the times I don't really trust the first layer of my emotions and thoughts, because there are so many layers. If you work with yourself, most probably you will experience this. Uh, that at first you have even a very strong, very deep looking feeling, and if you let it like reveal, and I think so the let it do, let it be, let it go, it is like an active letting. So it is like really a courage thing, and if you do that, you find a lot of different deeper layers, or not deeper, maybe there are no hierarchy, maybe it is like, yeah, yeah, that is another thing. Maybe there is no hierarchy at all. Maybe there is no more true, no deeper. Maybe there is just, they are just existing with each other, totally like in the same level. But anyway, I experienced it very useful to just trying to find all the I will say it, I will name them like layers. But yeah, I wanted to state that maybe this is not hierarchy. Maybe it is not. Maybe there is no more important layers. Maybe if you dig down successfully, it doesn't mean that you are, further on the good way than the others who cannot like feel these layers. Or maybe it is just one layer which you perceive like in a strange way. Or maybe when you feel that you let it go deeper, maybe in reality you just create the second layer, so that is not really layers. Or maybe, and it is, yeah, also totally possible, maybe it is totally different perception for any one of the people. I mean, it is totally different maybe for everyone. Okay, so where it was starting when it where it started, it was like I was thinking about my my strength points, which is actually my weak points. So I'm very very sensitive, I think, and that was the stream of the thought. I was thinking first, I was thinking that somehow I felt that maybe now I'm ready to do one of my previous kind of missions, because in the most of my life I really desired to help the people avoid the suffering, which I seemingly, I mean, this is only my first perception, of course, but if I looked around any time in my life, I I suspected that maybe I'm just suffering more, but not in a way that I have some different suffering from the people around me. I just felt that, or I was seeing it. My suffering was visible uh, on the face of all the people around me, but it was just different in the level of strength, or it was different in the way of they was not admitting it. They succeeded to actually like hide it. And at first, I think I was like getting more familiar and more accepting and I started to own my feelings and myself better. I mean, better, yeah, in a shorter time, so I could get like shorter aha moments, and understandings, and I got like earlier acceptations and kind of like level ups, but I'm not sure whether there are really levels, and I'm totally not sure. Well, in actually, I suppose that there are not. So the stairs of like getting in, yeah, towards the right direction. I think the sequence is maybe totally different for every people, but I experienced all my life in the way like that I was like progressing, not easier, because it was definitely harder, I mean, in the emotional front, but in shorter times. And it was because, at first I thought for long years that I thought that I'm smarter, and that is the reason, because I'm progressing faster. But after some years, I finally admitted some people to be smarter than me, or at least like as smart. I mean, in the intelligence, and they were not progressing at all. So I just realized that it is not because I'm smarter. And I also experienced some people who actually have like way lower intelligence level than me, and I just had to admit and accept that they are sometimes in some things they were like progressing more than me. So I turned out the focus of intelligence, and it started to be like less and less important, and less in the part of my my core of my proudness. And yeah, so fast forward for now, because it was like not very meaningful. So currently I think that actually my biggest strength is that I'm so unsuccessful or weak or clumsy, or so not good, very bad actually, like uh, like bearing the load and being able to hide my negative emotions. So actually, to be very 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 simple, I'm more sensitive, and I feel the suffer more. And maybe it is just one thing like this, or maybe I have an additional uh, unableism to hide the pain. So I just cannot manage it. Maybe this is just a weakness totally, but I think this is a very good thing. I mean, it is a high load, but I'm really really very grateful for progressing so well, because yeah, comparison between the people is totally like really nonsense. I mean, it is generally in 99%, it is totally a harmful thing, because you only you know you only got hatred from any type of comparisons in 99%, because you make like list of ordered lists, so rankings. And actually, if you are ahead of the people around you, you will be like happy, but in a totally false way, because this it will not change your emotions, it will not change your perceptions in reality, and you will be like very, very extremely miserable if you build yourself the rankings, and you are starting to focus only on the rankings which you are very good of it. Maybe you are on the very top of the rankings and you start to just collect this type of lists, and you start to, without consciously, you do it totally unconsciously maybe, and you start to cover all the consciousness of yourself with only this list, and you are defending yourself from the other types of lists when you are very, very low, and you just ignore them because you like cover your experiences and your perception with the list which are you are very good. This is the one you know opportunity in these making these comparisons. Or the other type is like, these are just different, but both of them are very, very, very bad, and I could experience myself most of my life the first type. So I was like building lists which I was very good at it, and I was ignoring the other lists. So I was like this type of a person, but after a very big crash in my life, my first really, really, really hard, strong, and deep broke up. After that, I just totally crashed in my identity, this, I wouldn't say positive, but the self uh, lifting, egoistic, you know, false high self-esteem pattern just broke, and I just immediately ended up in the opposite. So I experienced both of it on myself, but most of the time I saw the second part, which is like the opposite totally. So you make the comparisons, and you are actually focusing on the lists which you are very bad at it, and you create an image of yourself in your head that you are a totally complete failure, loser, and you are the worst person in the world, and you are worthless actually. So you aren't worth anything, and everyone around you is like more worthy of you, and you are just not good enough to this world, and something like that. And making comparisons from the base of the human nature, or at least in the society which we are creating from ourselves, from each other, with teaching each other, and training each other to the shittiest mental states, and not states, mental, like systems. So we are creating these symptoms from each other, I think, and it is very hard to get out of this, because it is you at first you have to breach out of this jail, but you will feel that you are totally alone, and that is why they or you together with all of the people around you, you actually put and kept yourselves in this jail, because you actually it was just slightly better than feeling totally alone, because for a human feeling totally alone is like the most brutal feeling, so it is like a killer. And that is why we generally, it is extremely hard, almost no, just the wording, so impossible, almost impossible to own yourself, to be your real self in the front of anybody, because you just don't want to be alone, you just don't want to be faulty alone, and you cannot believe even for a moment really that you are the only one who is not faulty. You cannot believe, we cannot believe that we are the only one right, which is also not a bad thing, because there is no such things, I think, at my current understanding of the world, there are no right and wrong. I mean, there are no like objective measure of this. This is just totally about your perception and your experiences. So generally, when you feel you are right and you feel the other is wrong and it is the opposite on the other part, you both are right, but you just cannot live with it. I mean, you cannot accept the fact that I can be right during my next person in the front of me is just trying to prove that I'm wrong. So there must be one wrong and one right. This is just again very human nature. So we become the language again. So we lose our self confidence, yeah, and become like totally, oh fuck, the ground was slipping out of my feet, under my feet, and I'm just, just flying in the void, in the space. And that is the most of the, so the root of most of the negative emotions and the lack of self-esteem. I mean, real self-esteem, because real self-esteem shouldn't mean that I'm right and you are wrong, because this is fake. And if you feel this, I mean, if you create this fake self-esteem, you will actually always suffer, even in the minute when you are on the highest peak of like the egoistic self-esteem, the false self-esteem, because it's somewhere in the depth you will feel that something is odd, something is not good, and of course you are forcing the other. So this is a competition. If you want to have like one winner and one loser, it is a competition, and a competition is not good even for the winner. I'm pretty sure about this. And the only thing which can get you this hyped false happiness is like it is like, when you suppress yourself for long, for the whole week, and you go to the party and you take like substances like very basic substances like alcohol. Most of the people are doing this on the weekend, and you feel something like happiness. You believe that this is happiness, you believe that this is freedom. You are like freeing up from the stress, and you just put it out from yourself. And maybe you are doing like very very bad things. Maybe you don't do any bad things, just sitting smiling, and finally I'm part of the humanity. I'm finally not bad, not too bad, and you just be aligned. But this type of happiness is actually totally false, and this is the same when you are the best, when you can feel and almost really believe in that you are the right and the others are the wrong. Because the competition thing is it is a very, I think it is very tough topic, and it is a very important topic, but I don't want to say things about it. But yeah, so back about the comparisons. But I found one thing which the comparisons is good for, and it is like, I forgot it. Maybe there is no such thing. No, it's just something like I was telling about. Yeah. Okay. So no, there is no good thing about the comparison. I wanted to say something like, after being totally miserable, after clashing with my most beloved ones, after accepting their denial and their, the most brutal type of negative emotions like being ashamed because of you and towards you, and being very very judgmental, being like feeling totally disappointed, and like just turning away from you. And when you have these type of situations and you can manage to remain yourself more than before, and you just bear the load and don't attack, don't defend, don't attack. Or at least if you have just slightly this tiny improvement in that, if you just defend or attack a little bit less than the the previous situation, so after that you will feel some difference, and you can actually see something on the other person who couldn't do this, who couldn't step up to the next step of the stair, if there is really a linear stair. I'm not sure, but there is something, and that was I wanted to say that comparisons have this one useful features. But this is not really a comparison, because this is because a comparison is something, the result of analyzation, and this experience is actually not getting out from analyzation. And if I ever let myself to analyze these situations, I got only the false happiness. I think I'm very good at feeling the false happiness. I mean, comparing, or figuring out whether it is a false happiness or the peace, because I think in the core, we, all of us, so the human wants to have the peace, and the peace is love, the peace is connection. So these words are for the same thing, I think. And we as a humanity, and in the whole history and the whole philosophic many philosophic roots and ways, we had like many different kind of communications about the same thing. And maybe that was the root meaning of the I think it is maybe Chinese and maybe from Lao Tzu, I'm not sure, and never mind. But there is a very famous phrasing that there is no new things under the sun. And I think it is mostly like this, that we have many names, many type of different communication style and pattern for the same thing. And this same thing is like, this is just my most preferred word, the peace. But the peace is also not something very basic. So the peace is not, it just doesn't just mean that, it shouldn't mean only that you are not in a war with somebody. I just got a company. Do you want to like be in the frame? Or no?
Can decide.
I don't want to decide. You decide. I'm already happy that I, didn't go disappointed, or not disappointed, ashamed, because you just showed up. So your decision. This was the decision. Okay. Yeah, but I was not getting ashamed that I forgot where I was. Never mind. It is not important. This is also a very deliberating feeling when you can feel that, okay, I don't, I shouldn't totally know where was I when I just got a change, shift.
Nick?
Mm.